Hello everyone, Board Game Lawyer here. Happy RRG week. We got the RRG 1.5 this week, which we've all been looking forward to for quite some time if you play Marvel Champions from Fantasy Flight Games. And so I thought I would celebrate by doing a Friday night Twitch. And what I thought I would do is try to take She-Hulk in her pre-con form through the entire core box. So we're going to play against Rhino, we're going to play against Claw, and we're going to play against Ultron this evening. Hopefully, if I lose, I'm out. One and done, I'm done. So we're going to start off with playing She-Hulk against Rhino. Again, this is a Friday night Twitch. I hope to try to make this a regular thing. Friday evenings, about 8 o'clock Central Time is what it is for me. So I hope to make this a regular feature of my channel. But anyway, let's get started. We're going to play against Rhino tonight. Rhino is very straightforward. His side 1A of the break-in simply says the setup advance to stage 1B. We're going to be playing against Rhino tonight in standard form. In fact, we'll play against all of the villains in standard form using all of their recommended modular sets. So I know that's probably not very exciting for some people, but I actually do like the precons. And I do like the recommended modular sets. I like mixing it up too. That's what's nice about this game, is you can customize it to the way you like. But for this evening, we're going to do a core box challenge. So Rhino starts with a scheme of 1 and attack of 2. He has 14 hit points. Jennifer Walters, who is, spoiler, the She-Hulk, she has 5 recovery. She's an attorney, which I like that. She also has Gamma. I like that too. She's an attorney and she's a Gamma. So, this is a shout out to all you Gammas out there. Alright, so she says, I object, interrupt, when threat would be placed on a scheme, prevent one of that threat, limit once per round. And of course, when she flips, she's a She-Hulk, she does lifting things, whatever. But for now, we are in our alter ego form. Let's take a look at our hand that was dealt. So we have the Genius card, we also have Tigra, we have Uppercut, Split Personality. It's a good card to get extra cards involved in the game to set up your board state, so that's not a bad card to have here at the beginning. I also have Chase Them Down and Mockingbird. So what's the chances I could play multiple cards in this turn? Well, for sure I want to keep Split Personality and Genius. I don't think I want to keep Uppercut necessarily, so I'm going to mulligan that card. Chase Them Down? No, probably not. Maybe not. So then the choice is, do you keep Mockingbird or do you keep Tigra? Well, there in her pre-con deck, she can use 5 different cards for double resources. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep Tigra. Mockingbird's probably my choice. When she enters play, stun an enemy. But Tigra's not bad either. She can pull off some damage. And then if minions come out, she could be healed up. So we're going to hang on to Tigra. We're going to discard Mockingbird, and we'll draw up 3 new cards. And it's with the hope that we get another double resource card. I don't know if we will or not, but let's see. We got Hulk. Ooh, that's probably even better. We got 1-2 Punch, and we got Focused Rage, which is an upgrade, which tells us to take a damage and draw a card. So we didn't get any double resources, so that's probably not very helpful. But what we will do is we are going to flip to our, whoops, that's exhaust. We are going to flip to our She-Hulk side, and then she has that ability, do you even lift? After you change this form, deal 2 damage to an enemy. So we'll deal 2 damage to the Rhino. And then, since Hulk is not critical right now, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to play that Split Personality card after we do an attack. So She-Hulk's going to attack for 3. Knocks Rhino down to 9. Now we'll play Split Personality, and we'll use the Genius card and the Focused Rage to pay for it. So we'll put both of those resources there in our discard pile. What that's going to allow us to do is to flip down, or flip, and then draw up to our hand size. Well, before we do that, if we're going to flip and maximize our opportunities here, let's go ahead and spend the 2 resources first. We'll spend Tigra in the 1-2 Punch. Yeah, to do that, to bring Hulk out. So now we have no more cards left in our hand. We spent those 3 resources for the split personality. We flipped down to our alter ego form. And now, when we do that with split personality, that allows us to drop to our printed hand size, which we know is 6. So we got 1, Avengers Mansion, Emergency. We got Relentless Assault, Combat Training, Tac Team, and Tenacity. So we'll discard split personality. Avengers Mansion is always good to get out early. So that's what we'll do. We'll put the Avengers Mansion out and we'll spend a Tenacity. We'll also spend a Tac Team. We'll spend Relentless Assault and the Emergency card to put out Avengers Mansion. We'll exhaust the Avengers Mansion to draw a card, which is the Power of Aggression. That came at a perfect time because now we can put out our Combat Training. There we go. So now our attacks are +1 because we spent 2 resources there, the Power of Aggression, to put out Combat Training. That was great. And we are just going to hang out. I'm not going to attack with Hulk yet because I don't have to. And so if I don't have to, we'll just hang on to our Hulk. We'll advance to phase. We again drop a hand size. We have Focused Rage. We have Uppercut. We've got Hellcat, Superhuman Law Division, First Aid, and the Haymaker. Alright, so the break-in gets 1 threat placed on it, but we have Jennifer Walters who says, I object to that. She's going to interrupt when threat would be placed on a scheme, prevent one of that threat, limit once per round. So no threat is going on the break-in, but Rhino is going to scheme. There's his boost, and he's going to scheme for 2. So we'll place 2 threat on the break-in. And then he draws his encounter card, which is a false alarm. It says, when revealed, you are confused. If you're already confused, this card gains Surge, which is kind of a loaded question because me personally, if it's talking about me in real life, I'm always confused. That's just my thing. But for the sake of the game here, let's go ahead and put a confuse on She-Hulk. So the false alarm goes off and does its thing. Discarding false alarm. All right, let's see what we got. We got First Aid, we got Uppercut, we got Hellcat. She's always nice. Return Hellcat to your hand. That's an action that we can do. And then we've got that Avengers Mansion. So, nice way to start each turn to exhaust the Avengers Mansion to draw a card. And it has Superhuman Strength on it. She-Hulk gets +2 attack. Force response after She-Hulk attacks, discard Superhuman Strength and stun the attacked enemy. Ooh, I like that. So, how about we flip again to our hero form. So She-Hulk says, again, do you even lift? To do 2 damage to Rhino. 1, 2. Now she's +1 attack, so She-Hulk can exhaust to do 4 damage to Rhino. And do we want to knock him all the way down? Could happen. We've got Haymaker, which we could do 3 damage to Rhino to knock him down to 0. Kind of like it. Damage is damage, right? So Haymaker, deal 3 damage to an enemy. We will spend, how about that Superhuman Law Division and maybe that Uppercut to pay for the Haymaker. So we'll do 3 damage to Rhino, knocking him all the way down to 0. We'll advance the villain. Discarding Haymaker. So now Rhino comes into play with 15 hit points on. It says, when revealed, search the encounter deck discard pile for break-in and take inside scheme. Reveal it. So we revealed it. So break-in and take-in now has 3 threat on it. 2+1. And it has a hazard icon on it, which is to deal additional card during the villain phase. Alright. We've got enough resources to put out another ally here. So we're going to put out the Hellcat. We're going to use Focus Rage. We're going to use Superhuman Strength. And we're going to use that First Aid to put out Hellcat. She likes to thwart. But I bet you she likes to attack as well. So How about we do that? We're going to attack Rhino for 1 or take 2 threat off of break in and take in. You win this game by taking down the hero or the villain. So let's put 1 damage into Rhino, and then with Hulk, we'll exhaust him to do 3 damage to Rhino. 1, 2, 3. Might as well bring our Hulk out if we got him, right? But he does have a forced response, and I'll read that. It says, after Hulk attacks, discard the top card of your deck. If that card's printed resource has a fist, energy, mental, or wild, you'll do one of these 4 things, as you can see on the screen there. Let's discard our top card, and it is a mental resource, of course, and that is to discard Hulk. Hulk just simply disappears. So probably that was a bad use of Hulk, but anyway. You got your Hulk, you use your Hulk, and Hulk is gone. Alright, so Rhino is going to place 1 threat on the break-in. He is going to attack for 3 onto She-Hulk. We're going to let that happen. We've got a lot of health. So that does 4 damage. 1, 2, 3, 4. Discard that. And we draw 2 cards because we have that break-in and take-in side scheme out over there. Our first encounter is a charge attached to Rhino. So this is a forced response when Rhino attacks. It gives +3 for the attack. And then our next one is, of course, the villain schemes. So Rhino is going to scheme for 1 plus his boost of 0. So he adds 1 threat to the main scheme. So we're getting that much closer to threading out. So we'll discard that card, discard the advance. And now it's Hellcat's turn. Let's let Hellcat do something this turn. But we got that Avengers Mansion. We're gonna draw a card first. We have the Ground Stomp. So if She-Hulk attacks for 3 + 1 is 4, and she can 1-2 punch, which allows her to ready. We could do a Ground Stomp, which will be another damage, and then another damage with return Hellcat and return to Hellcat to your hand. Interesting choices here. I think what first thing that we're going to do is we're going to try to clean up a little bit. We're going to try to get rid of this break-in and take-in because it adds that extra that we just don't need right now. So Hellcat is going to remove 2 threat off of break-in and take-in. And that places 1 consequential damage onto Hellcat. But we're going to return Hellcat to our hand because that's her ability. Return her to our hand. We're going to put her back out onto the table. We're going to spend an energy. And we're going to spend a legal practice to put Hellcat back onto the table. We'll exhaust Hellcat to remove threat off of the break-in and take-in side scheme. So we'll discard that. We're going to put 1 consequential damage into Hellcat. With She-Hulk, we're going to exhaust her to do 4 damage to Rhino. And then after we attack him, we're going to do the 1-2 punch. And we're going to spend Chase Them Down to do that 1-2 punch. To ready She-Hulk. We'll exhaust her to remove a threat. I should have used her earlier probably to remove threat. Because she removes 1 threat and Hellcat could have removed 2 threat off of the break-in. But we didn't do that. We're not going to rewind. We're just simply going to flip over it into alter ego form. Flip the card. And we're going to discard Ground Stomp. And we will end the phase. Okay, we'll turn things back over to Rhino. So let's look at our hand. We got Nick Fury, we got the Helicarrier, we've got Legal Practice, Tag Team, 1-2 Punch, and Gamma Slam. So we got a nice assortment of cards in our hand. If we can stave off the Rhino for 1 more turn, I think we got him. So we're going to ignore placing a threat on the main scheme because we're going to object to it. Rhino's going to scheme for 1 + 1 is 2. He didn't attack us, so charge does not go off. And now he draws his card. Encounter card, reading. Whoops. Sandman. We play Sandman out there on the table. He has toughness. This character enters play with it. He has 2 scheme, 3 attack, and 4 health. Not going to matter because we are going to flip She-Hulk on our turn to her She-Hulk side, doing 2 damage to Rhino. We're going to put Nick Fury out onto the table because we see the end in sight. Nick Fury is going to come out. We're going to spend 4 resources, that Gamma Slam, the 1-2 punch, the tack team, legal practice. Nick Fury is going to do 4 damage when he comes out onto Rhino. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then Nick Fury is going to take down the Rhino, removing his last health from him. Okay, so She-Hulk has defeated Rhino. She's going to advance to the next villain, which is the Claw. So we'll get set up here with Claw. We're going to select his standard modular set as well as the recommended modular set. We'll select our hero. We're going to pick She-Hulk again. Give it a second to load. Alright, so we're going to bring Claw down. We're just going to zoom into our screen here so we can see what's happening. Alright. So everything's big screened. Let everybody see what's going on out there. I'll go ahead and read the setup on the underground distribution. This is Claw's main scheme. Search the encounter deck and discard pile for the Defense Network side screen and reveal it. Shuffle the encounter deck and advance to stage 1B. So we have the Defense Network out that has a crisis icon on it. And we place an additional threat there, so it comes into play with 3 threat on it. We're going to flip Underground Distribution. Underground Distribution says discard cards to the encounter deck until a minion is discarded. Put that minion into play. Engage with the first player. So let's take a look at the encounter deck. We'll discard the first card, the Immortal Claw. Armored Guard. He's our first minion that we discarded, so he comes out into play. And of course, the Armored Guard is a guard who has toughness, and he has 0 scheme, 1 attack, 3 hit points, and a tough card on him. So we already know what Jennifer Walter does. She can object. We need to mulligan our hand, right? Let's do our mulligan now. So we're going to get rid of Emergency. We're going to get rid of Chase Them Down. We don't want any more of those guys out there. We are going to... the Avengers Mansion and the Helicarrier. Which one do we want? So we'll get rid of Focus Rage. I like these 1-2 punches. That's one of my favorite cards in her kit. It's a cheap way to ready her, and it does so much damage. So the Helicarrier would probably be more of economical right now. It'll give us an additional resource discount that we can use. So let's hang on to the Helicarrier. We'll draw 4 cards. We got the Power of Aggression. Ooh, there's a split personality again. Combat Training and another 1-2 punch. Ooh. So we don't have any dual resources that we can use to pay for split personality. So we'd have to actually use 3 cards in order to make this happen. But I think it's worth it. So let's, with Jennifer Walters, we will flip over to her hero side. So do you even lift? We're going to remove that tough card off of the Armored Guard, and She-Hulk is going to punch the Armored Guard to knock him out. Then she will ready herself with that 1-2 punch. We'll use the... I don't know if I want to use Helicarrier for that, necessarily. Maybe I will use... Let's think about that for a second. I got to spend 2 cards. Combat Training's always nice. with She-Hulk, and I've got the power of aggression to pay it for it. So let's do that. Let's spend the power of aggression to put out combat training. And then, rather than go after Claw, let's use our split personality, spending Helicarrier, a 1-2 punch, and a 1-2 punch. 3 cards that I really don't like to spend necessarily, but we're going to play that split personality to flip down to our alter ego form. And then we get to drop our hand size. So we're going to draw 1, Nick Fury, 2, Ground Stomp, 3, Relentless Assault, 4, Energy, 5, Hulk, and the Gamma Slam. Ooh, too bad the Gamma Slam's out this early because we're at full strength, so it's not going to do us any good. We've got Nick Fury. He always comes out this early in the game, so we're going to spend 2 Energy, and we're going to spend maybe a Ground Stomp and a Relentless Assault to put out Nick Fury. This time, Nick Fury is going to remove threat off a defense network. Be a way to clear that defense network, or we draw 3 cards. We always draw 3 cards. We draw 1, 2, and 3. So Nick Fury is going to attack Claw for 2, or is he going to remove 2 threat off of the defense network? I've got Tac Team, which can do damage. Hulk, who can absorb damage. Gamma Slam, nothing. Haymaker, I can't play. I guess I'm going to put out Tac Team because I could spend 3 resources to do that. So we'll spend 1 Tac Team, a Haymaker, and let's say a Gamma Slam to put out Tac Team. With the Tac Team, we'll remove a token, and it says that we can exhaust it to remove a counter and deal 2 damage to an enemy. So we're going to deal 2 damage to Claw. And then with Nick Fury, let's remove 2 threat off of the defense network. I like that idea. Let's get that defense network down. And we will end our turn. So we'll advance the phase. Turning things back over to Claw, we have Hulk, we have Uppercut, Relentless Assault. We also have Superhuman Strength, Focused Rage, and Tigra out on the table. When Nick Fury removed that threat, we did need to put 1 consequential damage on him. So we'll place 1 threat on Underground Distribution, but we won't because we're going to object to that using her Interrupt ability. And now Claw is going to scheme for 2 plus, oops, I drew an extra card. That's actually his encounter card. We'll set that over here for now. We'll draw the first one, which was a Sound Manipulation. We place 4 threat onto the Underground Distribution. Got carried away with my drawing of cards there. Discard that. Then Tiger Shark is the encounter card that we would have drawn. It comes out into play with 1 scheme, 3 attack. As a force response, after Tiger Shark attacks, give him a tough status card. Alright, so it's the end of Claw's turn. Nick Fury, if he's still alive, if he's still at the end of the round, Nick Fury gets discarded. Alright. So then, we have Tigra. Focus Rage, Superhuman Strength, Relentless Assault, Uppercut, and Hulk. All good cards. So if we flip over to our She-Hulk side, we could do 2 damage to Tiger Shark. Now with the Relentless Assault, if we spend a fist resource to pay it for it, which we can, we've got that Uppercut. So let's do this. Let's do Relentless Assault. We'll spend Uppercut and Superhuman Strength to play Relentless Assault to deal 5 damage to Tiger Shark. If you paid for it using a fist resource, it gains Overkill. So 4 of it's going to go into Tiger Shark. 1 is going to go into Claw. So we discard Relentless Assault. And we also discard Tiger Shark. She-Hulk. Ooh, I would have liked to have gotten Tigra out. I think She-Hulk's just simply going to remove that last threat from Defense Network. I know it's a 5-punch onto Claw, but Defense Network, if we want to try to keep the underground distribution from going off, we're going to use She-Hulk's Thwart ability this time, which is only 1. And we'll bring out Cuz, the Hulk. Put him onto the table. The TAC team is going to go off. We're going to remove a token from TAC team to do 2 damage to Claw. And we're just going to hang on to Hulk for the time being. He might be good to absorb some damage. So we'll ready She-Hulk by advancing the phase. Let's take a look at our hand. We got Ground Stomp and we got Hellcat. And we've got Genius and Strength are our resource cards that we've got in our hand. So we can definitely put out potentially another ally on our next turn. We're going to place 1 threat on underground distribution. Hulk is going to block from this attack of Claw. So the first one is deal 1 damage to each hero. The next boost, because the Forced Interrupt says Claw attacks give him 1 additional boost. So he hits for 1 and 1 onto She-Hulk. 1 on She-Hulk and 1 on the Hulk. Encounter card reads, the villain schemes. Well, that's not good. That's what we were trying to avoid. Ah, that grinning face. So he schemes for 2. Plus 2 is 4. So the underground distribution goes off. We're going to discard it and bring out Secret Rendezvous. Do a little cleanup here. The Secret Rendezvous says, discard cards from the encounter deck until a minion is discarded. Put that minion into play, engage with the first player, advance to stage 2B. Let's start dealing some cards. Legal Work. Assault. Claw's Vengeance. The Weapons Runner. Put their Weapons Runner into play. We could deal that. Discard that. Weapons Runner into play. Flip over the Secret Rendezvous. And it reads, if the stage is completed, the players lose the game. It comes out with 0 threat. It threats out at 8, and you add 1 each turn. Okay, so we got Hellcat. We've got Ground Stomp. We've got Attack Team. Attack teams are always nice to get rid of minions, so we'll go ahead and remove that last token from TAC team to discard the Weapons Runner. That takes care of TAC team. It did its thing. She-Hulk is going to punch Claw for 4. Hulk is not going to be able to do anything for us this turn, but we can get Hellcat out, and we'll spend... How about a Genius and a Ground Stomp to pay for Hellcat? And when she comes out, she can do 1 damage to Claw. Is that necessary? Probably not. I think we're going to flip down to our alter ego form anyway. So let's do this. Let's just leave her alone for now. We'll try to determine what we want to use her for later. Advance the phase. Oops, I meant to flip down. It's alter ego form. So I get to draw 2 more cards. Superhuman Law Division and Combat Training. And Claw is going to place 1 threat on the Secret Rendezvous. We're going to object to that. He's going to scheme for 2. Plus 1 is 3. So he has 3 on that Secret Rendezvous. Discard that. Deals an encounter card, which is the Armored Guard. So we have another Armored Guard in play. Let's advance the villain phase back over to the hero phase, and again we have Strength, Mockingbird, chase them down. After your hero attacks and defeats a minion, remove 2 threat from a scheme. That would be nice. Maybe we can use that. Yeah, certainly. Why not? We can use Chase Them Down. We can still get Mockingbird out. The 1-2 punch could potentially go off. And we can remove threat with Hellcat and Mockingbird. So maybe we won't use Chase Them Down. Let's see how we want to do this. Let's flip over to our hero side. We'll do 2 damage to Armored Guard. Right? Or it's not an attack. I could deal 2 damage to Claw. How about we do that instead? Instead of removing that tough off of the Armored Guard for that 2 damage, let's do 2 damage to Claw. Then Mockingbird can attack Claw. I got an idea. Let's back up one more time because we haven't really finished what we're doing yet. So when She-Hulk flips, she's going to do 3 damage to 2 damage to the Armored Guard to knock off the tough card. Huh. I'm just thinking in terms of whenever we defeat Claw, trying to remove that side scheme quickly, because that will beef him up considerably. So how about Armored Guard? Hulk can knock Claw out. And let's just let him do that. So Hulk's going to attack Claw for 3. We've got a Hulk. Let's just use him. So that's going to defeat Claw. And before his force response goes off, does Claw advance? So when he's defeated, he advances to the next stage, right? So next villain is Claw. And now we do this forced response. I'm assuming that when he's defeated, he immediately pops out, which will now allow us to do the forced response. And so we deal ourselves a card. Discard the top card of the deck. It is a fist, which is nice, because we can use those 3 fists to, or that ability there, deal 2 damage to an enemy, to do 2 damage to Claw. It's not an attack or anything, so we can just simply do 2 damage to Claw. And now if She-Hulk knocks out the Armored Guard for 4, Chase Them Down says, after your hero attacks and defeats an enemy, remove 2 threat from a scheme. So she is going to defeat the Armored Guard. It's going to remove 2 threat off of the Armored Claw, or the Immortal Claw. We forgot to read the text on that. It says that he gives 10 hit points. It gives 10 hit points to Claw, so he's going to go up to 26. So 2 threat comes off of that because of Chase Them Down. Armored Guard is defeated. How about we bring Mockingbird out? Let's see, she just did an attack, so we can spend 1 resource to play 1-2 punch to ready her. Yeah, we'll do that. So we'll spend that combat training, which it went, I think, to the bottom of the discard pile. To do the 1-2 punch to ready She-Hulk. Discard that. Yeah. And now we're going to spend 3 resources to put Mockingbird out. Mockingbird's text reads, after Mockingbird's enters play, stun an enemy. So we're going to stun him. Mockingbird is going to remove 1 threat off of the Immortal Claw, which is going to drop Claw's hit points by 10. Back down to 16. I needed to put 1 more consequential damage on Hulk earlier, so I did. So he's up to 2 now. Hellcat. Let's get rid of Immortal Claw. She-Hulk attacks Claw for 4. I think Hellcat's going to remove threat. Yeah, she's just going to take 2 threat off that secret rendezvous. Remember, it threats out, we lose the game. And there's another advanced card floating around that encounter deck. So place 1 consequential damage onto Hellcat. Hulk's got 2, and Mockingbird has 1. We'll end our turn. So we got Superhuman Strength, we got the Legal Practice, First Aid, and Tenacity. Ooh, Tenacity. That could get us within range if everything goes fine this time. So let's do this. Let's place 1 threat on the secret rendezvous. Claw is not going to attack us because he's stunned. His encounter card reads Weapons Runner, which has a surge after this card is revealed. Reveal 1 additional encounter card. And that one is Caught Off Guard, which is discard an upgrade or support you control. If no cards were discarded this way, this card gains surge. So combat training goes away. Bummer. Discard. Caught Off Guard. Okay. So we can do 3 damage with She-Hulk. Tenacity will allow us to spend a fist resource to ready our hero. That'll bring her back up so she can do 3 more damage to Claw. So that gets him down to 6. Mockingbird attacks him. Hellcat attacks him. Hulk attacks him. Losing that combat training kept us just out of range, I think, this turn. But I'm willing to give it a try. So let's spend a First Aid and a Superhuman Strength to put out Tenacity. She-Hulk is going to attack Claw for 3. Takes him down to 9. We'll spend a fist resource to discard this card and ready our hero. So we're ready She-Hulk. To punch him again. 1, 2, 3. He's now down to 6. Mockingbird is going to attack him for 1. Hellcat is going to attack him for 1. Hulk is going to attack him for 3. And now we draw that card. We're going to discard that card and see what we get. And we get a wild resource, which if we look at Hulk, it says all of the above. So the first one is to deal 2 damage to an enemy, and we'll trigger that one first. So Claw is defeated, so She-Hulk has made it through the first 2 villains of the box. That leads us to Ultron. Let's do a Solve reset. Let's load a scenario. Let's bring Ultron out into the fray. We use the standard encounter set. We're going to use the recommended modular set for him. We're going to load She-Hulk 1 more time tonight. And she's going to take on the big baddie of the box, Mr. Ultron. Let's do this. It's taking a second to load. Alright, let's tighten up our board here. Move things where I'm used to placing them. I'm going to put the environment over here next to the main scheme. Zoom in and see what's going on here with Ultron. So let's look at our hand. Ooh, we got the Gamma Slam early. Hate that. We got the emergency card. We have Strength, 1-2 Punch, Hellcat, and Relentless Assault. Ooh, good time for Relentless Assault. So we're going to hang on to Relentless Assault. We're going to Oh, you know what? We got to read this cards first. Let's do this in order. We just got a brand new RRG this week, which helps us to kind of like put things in perspective again. So really glad that came out. Let's look at the Crimson Cowl. It says, put the Ultron drones environment into play, shuffle the encounter deck, and advance to stage 1B. Alright, so the Ultron drones environment says each face-down drone minion engaged with the player has a base scheme of 1, base attack of 1, and a base hit point of 1. After a face-down drone minion is defeated, place that card in its owner's discard pile. Okay. So that's the Ultron drones environment. The Crimson Cowl, it threats out at 3. Low threshold. When revealed, each player puts the top card of their deck into their play, face down, engage with them as a drone minion. So you know this beautiful hand that I have here? It's going to go away because we need to first suffice these when revealed abilities before we would have ever dealt our hand. So we're going to shuffle that deck. We're going to draw a card face down. And that now becomes a drone minion. We'll put it over here next to the drone minion environment. So we got another enemy on the table. And let's look at the force response on Ultron. It says, after Ultron attacks you, choose to either place one threat on the main scheme or put the top card of your deck into play face down, engage with you as a drone minion. Okay, let's draw our hand. Draw cards, and we're going to draw 6. And it says 1-2 punch, chase them down. Mockingbird, Nick Fury, Genius, and the Ground Stomp. Deal 1 damage to each enemy. Mockingbird. And we've got Nick Fury. So we've got options. Chase them down. Yeah. So let's... Nick Fury. How can you pass on Nick Fury, especially when you got a Genius card in your hand? So Nick Fury's going to come out onto the table. We're going to spend a Genius. We're going to spend a Chase Them Down. I will also spend a Ground Stomp to put Nick Fury out. When he enters play, I get to draw 3 more cards. So we're going to draw Strength. I like it. First Aid. And Relentless Assault. Relentless Assault says deal 5 damage to a minion, which we've got a minion out on the table already. If you paid for this using a fist resource, this attack gains Overkill, which will go straight over to Ultron. We got to burn down Ultron quick. We could do some damage to Ultron this first turn. And I think we're going to. It's really tempting to put out Mockingbird, but we've got that Nick Fury on the table. So how about we do this? How about we flip our hero form, deal 2 damage to Ultron. We're going to play Relentless Assault. And we're going to spend those 2 strength resources, I believe. Yeah. 2 strength resources to play Relentless Assault to deal 5 damage. So we'll discard that base hit of 1 minion. Ooh, it was the Power of Aggression. To deal 4 damage to Ultron. Discard these guys. Now, our little lady is going to attack Ultron for 3, knocking him down to 8. We're going to play the 1-2 punch after you make a basic attack using your attack. Ready, She-Hulk, and we'll spend the first aid for that. So she gets readied. She-Hulk is going to attack Ultron again. 1, 2, 3. He's now down to 5. And Nick Fury is going to attack Ultron, knocking him down to 3. Placing 1 consequential damage onto Nick Fury. We're going to hang on to Mockingbird. We'll ready everything. Draw up our hand size. Turn things over to Ultron. So, of course, we're going to place one threat on the Crimson Cowl. Ultron is going to attack. We're going to block with Nick Fury. Now it says, after Ultron attacks you, choose to either place one threat on the main scheme or put one card. So he's actually, Nick Fury's jumping in the way of that attack, so I guess he's not attacking me then, right? After he attacks you, this is an after. Nick Fury takes it from us. Excuse me. Get a drink. Ultron attacks for 2. And it says you deal 1 damage to each character you control. So we're going to place 1 damage onto Nick Fury. He's still alive. Place 1 damage on She-Hulk because of the concussive blast. And then 2 damage on Nick Fury. He's going to discard Nick Fury. So he's gone. Alright. And after Ultron attacks you. Okay. Draws an encounter card, and it is an Android Efficiency. It's a treachery card. It says, when revealed, each player puts the top card of their deck into play, face down, engage with them as a drone minion. Well, we got that drone minion out on the table anyway. Alright, so She-Hulk. She can attack Ultron, knock him all the way down. Love that idea, by the way. Mute my microphone while I cough. Sorry about that. She-Hulk attacks the Ultron for 3, knocking him all the way down to 0. Next villain, Ultron comes out with 22 health. It says force response. When Ultron attacks you, put the top card of your deck into play. Face down, engage with you as a drone minion. So that says when he attacks us, we put that drone minion out. So we can either put Mockingbird out and stun him, or we could put combat training out. Legal practice says choose and discard the top 5 cards of your, or discard up to 5 cards from your hand to remove 1 threat from a scheme. Never liked that one. And tech team. That's like 6 damage. I can't really pass on putting out Mockingbird because she's going to stun this guy. Add a stun card, and we're going to spend 3 resources for that. Mockingbird either takes 1 threat off of the Crimson Cowl, or she's going to knock out 1 drone. Let's take down the drone. The 1-2 punch was a drone. Place 1 consequential damage onto Mockingbird. Since Ultron is stunned and his forced response has things to do with stun, we got the Crimson Cowl still out on the table. That's just going to place 1 threat. So let's just stay in hero form for 1 more turn. See what we get. We got Split Personality, Emergency, Haymaker, and Tigra. I really like Split Personality here. As long as I don't have to discard any cards from my hand, because that's a way that we could really bump up this. Okay, this next turn could be good, but you know how it goes sometimes. So we're going to place 1 threat on the Crimson Cowl. Ultron is not going to attack, so his force response will not go off. Unless something happens here, let's draw the encounter card, and it is under attack. When revealed, each player chooses to either place 2 threat here or deal 3 damage to their hero we're going to deal 3 damage to our hero instead of placing 3 threat there. I just don't want to get under attack out of control early on like this. So we do have split personality, and we've got 3 cards that we can use to pay for it. So while we are in hero form, let's do 3 damage to Ultron, knocking him down to 19. Let's spend those 3 cards. 1. You know, there may be something about not attacking him just yet. So let's leave him at 22 for now. Because if I could split personality into a 1-2 punch, maybe we can do more damage later on. So, tell you what, let's do the split personality. We're going to spend 3 cards to do that. 1, 2, 3. To flip down to our alter ego form. And according to that card, we get to now draw 6 cards. So we got, oh yep, see there's the 1-2 punch. There's a Gamma Slam. There's an uppercut, Avengers Mansion, and the Power of Aggression. So we technically could do quite a bit of damage to Ultron now. Because when we flip into our hero form, check this out. Flip over into She-Hulk form, because we didn't flip yet. We started out in hero form. We let that split personality move us down into our alter ego form. Now we do 2 damage to Ultron. So there he is down to 20. She-Hulk is going to attack for 3 now. 1, 2, 3. Gets him down to 17. The 1-2 punch comes out. We use Avengers Mansion for that. So we get to ready She-Hulk again to do 3 more damage. Down to 14. Let's see, what did we just do? There we go. So we exhausted She-Hulk. We needed to exhaust She-Hulk in order to do those 3 damage. Power of Aggression and Tack Team to pay for that uppercut, which is going to deal 5 damage to Ultron. Sorry, my allergies are going crazy tonight. Alright, so now that Crimson Cowl, we don't want that to pop. So with Mockingbird, we can't remove it because we have a crisis icon on the table. So Mockingbird's just going to punch Ultron. We're just going to see what we can do. See if we can rush this guy down to nothing. She-Hulk can take damage. She's got Gamma Slam. I don't know if we'll be able to pull off a Gamma Slam or not because it's going to cost 4 resources to do that. Just depends on what we draw in our turn. So we'll advance the phase. We did. We got Energy, Helicarrier, and Legal Practice. If we take enough damage with She-Hulk, we may be able to take down Ultron. So this is one of those instances where you kind of hope for damage. So Crimson Cowl is going to go off because we're going to place 1 thread on there. So we're going to advance the scheme, and it gives us an assault on NORAD. It says, when revealed, each player puts the top card of their deck into play face down, engage with them as a drone minion. So we're going to draw that unrevealed. Okay, so we got 1 drone minion on the table. Ultron attacks. He's going to attack us for 2. It says force interrupt. When Ultron attacks you, place the top card of your deck into play face down, engage with you as a drone minion. Until the end of the attack, Ultron gets +1 attack for each drone minion engaged with you. So here we go. We're going to draw another one, unrevealed. So now we've got 2 of these drone minions on the table. He's going to attack us for 2 + 2, and here's our boost, which is a 0. So he's going to attack us for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we've taken 8 damage so far, which incidentally is his remaining health. Okay. Let's see. I don't think I did. I flipped to 2A, didn't I? Or 2B. Force response after placing threat here during step 1 of the villain phase. So we already did that. So that was a nothing. Alright, so Ultron just attacked us. We have 2 more drone minions that are going to attack us. So I'm hit for 5 now. Or I'm down to 5. And then here's the encounter card that is dealt. And it is Rage of Ultron. It says, when revealed, Ultron attacks you. Discard the top card of your deck for each damage dealt by this attack. So this is where Mockingbird, now she should have actually taken a consequential damage earlier, because she did one her first turn out, and then here's her second one. So Ultron attacks you. Discard the top card of your deck for each damage dealt by this attack. So Mockingbird is going to jump out in front of this attack. When Ultron attacks you, put the top card of your deck face down. So we got to do that again. Okay, so now there's 3 Ultron drones out there on the table. Discard the top card of your deck for each damage dealt by the attack. Alright, here is his encounter card, or his boost card. So he's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 damage into Mockingbird. And because he didn't do damage to us, Ultron attacks you, discard for each damage dealt by this attack. Oh, it's just simply damage dealt. So he dealt 1 damage to Mockingbird. But in reality, he would have dealt 6. So we can discard 6 cards. That's fine. Alright, good. And that gang up card goes away. Now, we've got the energy card and we've got the Gamma Slam. We've got enough resources in order to pull off the Gamma Slam. And I think that's exactly what we're going to do on our turn. So we're going to play the Gamma. We're going to spend Legal Practice, Helicarrier, and Energy to do 10 damage to Ultron, knocking him all the way down to 0. So She-Hulk takes down the core box in this challenge. I believe that to be true. If you saw somewhere in this video where I made any mistakes against any of these villains, it does not hurt my feelings at all whatsoever. In fact, I love it when people point out an error that I had made, because A, I learned from it, and B, it teaches others. So that's all that really matters. In my mind, I'm the victor. I was able to defeat the core box tonight, so this is my Friday night Twitch. In just under an hour, I was able to race through 3 villains in the core box. So thanks for watching. I'm the Board Game Lawyer. Tune in next time as I try to take another hero against a gambit of 3 successive villains. Don't know who that's going to be yet. We just have to tune in next time to find out. So we'll try to make this a Friday night pre-con gambit. So thanks for watching. Board Game Lawyer. You can catch me on YouTube. You can catch me on Twitch. Have a good evening.